like I said, a live witness, a live victim that was subject to cross-examination and was cross-examined in front of the jury. And the jury chose to believe her. And in fact, they did believe her.
And what would you say right now? I mean, what would you say? I mean, in retrospect, well, how do you feel about the case and the appeal that's going on?
You know, I don't have any. I'm indifferent to the appeal. I mean, as a prosecutor, I know that cases, you know, the rules allow for appeal, and I respect that. But one has to be realistic and say, okay, is this an appeal for money's sake, or is this an appeal for just to drag this thing out, or is this an appeal to give the family false hopes? I mean, and you answer that. I mean, let the public answer that.
Do you feel confident that that conviction is going to stand and that he will continue serving his time in prison?
Well, I mean, that's a misstatement. The conviction has stood. The Court of Appeals have already said this conviction is affirmed. So, I mean, he has already taken the appeals that the rules allow, and the different courts have affirmed the conviction. So it is a good conviction.
Okay. Anything else about the case?
No, no.
I mean, one thing I was always amazed by was the victim. You talk about the victim, and I believe just from the reporting of it that Mr. Lopez didn't believe that she would testify against him, and she did, and she was a pretty strong witness, as I recall, because I did cover that case. Tell us about that. I mean, that really seemed to be the slam dunk.
Well, and that's my whole point when I say this is not a DNA case. Again, as you indicated, Shove, you were there and you saw the victim, you know, take the oath, and I know people, you know, not always tell the truth even under oath. I'm realistic about that. But she got on that witness stand in front of the jury, in front of the judge, and looked at Mr. Lopez and, you know, made the charge that she did, and she was cross-examined on that point, and the jury, I mean, this is a jury system, and, you know, the jury chose to believe the victim, as juries do sometimes, and sometimes they don't. They could have said, you know, we don't believe her, but by their verdict, they said we believe her, and that's what carries at the end of the day, that's what stands. You know, so what was the DNA needed for or not needed for? I mean, you had the victim say, you know, he raped me.
And Joe Lopez has a pretty big following, still a lot of postings on his Facebook page. This interview they did over the weekend, they had more than 100 emails just off of this. Tell us, have you been contacted by any of his fans? Because I know in the past, when I spoke to Mondo about this, and he told me, yeah, we got a lot of, you know,